it is quite evident that there's been an uptick in the number of people converting to Islam in recent months. This was really noticeable, I feel, in Ramadan, where it seemed that every day a young man was given his shahada and becoming Muslim.
أشهد أن لا إله إلا Allah.
I've invited you in today because I want to understand this phenomenon, if indeed it is one. Now, for those of our viewers who may not know you, Imam Ashraf Dabus is an imam at Lewisham Mosque here in London. He studied at the Islamic University of Medina. He also studied privately under many scholars studying Hanbali and Hanafi fiqh, as well as other Islamic sciences. Are we seeing more young people, British people, come into Islam here in Britain?
Yeah, so 100% over the last, I would say, I think even going back before Ramadan, over the last few months, there's definitely been an uptake. And it's interesting because you mentioned young men, but it's actually young men and women.
Really?
But at Lewisham anyway, most of the women we don't record. And if we do, it would be like kind of like a camera close to the shoulder, so you don't really see the image of herself in the video.
Sure.
But there's definitely been an uptake, 100%. And it's been a range of ages. And I would suggest it's not only at Lewisham. I think it's been at multiple masajid.
Really?
So some of the masajid that I've been working in, other than Lewisham, so Lewisham I'm there most of the time, and I have like weekly classes at other masajid, and there have been shahadas there as well. And young people have been telling me, sending me messages, calling me, this person wants to take shahada, where do they go to, things like that. So definitely there's been an uptake.
How many roughly, in Ramadan, how many men and women became Muslims?
So in Ramadan alone, I would suggest maybe 60 to 70 young men and women.
Really?
And you mentioned there's been like a shahada video every day.
Yes.
But that's because we're like, releasing them slowly.
Right.
But on one particular day we had 7 shahadas. Another day we had 11, which was prior to Ramadan.
Yes.
And it became like you kind of expect it. Some days someone will come in after Asr, I'd like to become Muslim. After Maghrib, I'd like to become Muslim. After Isha, 2, I'd like to become Muslim. And in fact, we had people attending the prayers and classes, and they weren't yet Muslim, and then taking their shahada after 2 or 3 weeks. So definitely the case.
So these are youth from the local schools who come to your masjid, local colleges.
Yeah, exactly.
So these are people they know at school and college who they interact with on a daily basis.
And sometimes the Muslim youth are not actually from the area,
Really?
but the individual is from the area. And so when you ask them, like, what is it that led to your Islam, they'll say, my friends.
Really?
Like young, and we're talking 14-year-olds, 15-year-olds. Maybe even 13.
Serious?
Young Muslim boys and girls who are proud of their identity as Muslims. They're praying in school. They're kind of living as Muslims to the best of their capacity at that age. And these young men and women are taking note. And we've heard multiple times, multiple individuals have said similar things when asked, why is it that you're becoming Muslim? And they've highlighted certain points. The best da'wah is the lived da'wah.
Really?
And that's what we see with these young people. It's like a few of them, they've said, I saw the way my friends were, kind, generous, and a term that's come up very often, disciplined. We've heard disciplined a lot.
Really?
The prayer, I watched them pray, and I decided this is the life for me.
Yes.
We had a school group come to the masjid, and they were year 6s. So they were in year 6. And a young man, after the presentation, so we normally give a presentation in Islam, he said to me, I'm Muslim now. And I said, oh, when did you become Muslim? So I assumed he became Muslim a while ago, and he said, I just decided after listening to that talk that I want to be a Muslim.
Really?
This is the way for me. And I was like, I didn't know, should I take him seriously or not? So one of his friends in the class was a Muslim, so I called him over and said, look, he said he wants to become a Muslim. Talk to him. And I told him, talk to your parents, things like that, because you have to involve the parents.
I was fascinated when you said a 70-year-old lady embraced Islam.
Yeah.
She was old, she was elderly, she embraced Islam. Again, what lay behind her conversion? Did you get a chance to ask her?
So Imam Shakil was present for her shahada. And basically her son became Muslim. And through her son, many of his friends actually became Muslim. And a prominent individual actually became Muslim through that group as well. And he mentioned that a celebrity's children were also responsible for his Islam as he grew up with them. And so he saw them living as Muslims, and that had an impact on him. And with her, they came from an area which was actually, you could possibly say, like, it was a known racist area.
Really?
Known racist area. And that's a point to take into consideration. Like sometimes we build up these stereotypes, and we allow the stereotypes, because stereotypes work both ways. The non-Muslims have stereotypes sometimes, but we also develop these stereotypes. If I see like a bald-headed, muscular-looking white man, I might say to myself, oh, he looks like, he's a racist. But is that actually the case? And if I allow that thought to creep in, then I've already put up a barrier between myself and delivering him the message of Islam. And so they came from an area which was known for being quite racist. And in fact, one of the individuals mentioned, he has family members that are racist, but they accepted Islam. you know. And so it's when people actually understand what Islam is. You know, if you think about Islam from the societal benefits that it brings, you know, many people don't know this. They don't know what Islam is. The only interaction they've had with Islam is what they see on their TV or the echo chamber that is the internet, you know, or what they've heard, word of mouth, etc. And so when they actually come into interaction with a Muslim who's living his Islam or her Islam through their interactions, it takes them aback. You know, they're surprised and they inquire, and many times they often kind of embrace Islam.